This video is for adult collectors. There's your warning.
Fellow Cybertronians, my name is OptimusPrime. Are you unsatisfied with your chassis? Do you wish for more out of it? Then you should try the Beefimus Prime workout. Look at me before. I could not bear the weight of this war. But look at me now. I feel like I can take on the entire Decepticon army. And you can too. By using this simple 10-step program, you will have the chassis of your dreams. So call now at 1-800-BEEF-PRIME. Your chassis will thank you, as will the Autobot cause.
Hey guys, I'm Woody. Today, we're taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series, War for Cybertron, Optimus Prime. Like most of us, when Hasbro told us they'd be tapping into the War for Cybertron games for the Studio Series, I was ecstatic, and this figure certainly does not disappoint. Starting with vehicle mode, it is a great representation of what we see in the game, from excellent sculpting to paint applications. But it's not without its problems. Okay, look, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I don't display my figures from the back facing forward, so this is honestly tolerable. I get some things have to be compromised for the sake of transformation, and if this is the only problem, I'm fine with it. That aside, it is really well done. It's the classic red and blue color scheme we see Optimus normally in, with some hints of silver thrown in for the bumpers, windows, and rims on the truck. But it also has the energon red that glows throughout the vehicle. It's mostly seen on the rims though. I do kind of wish there were some other parts that had it, but hey, if it's not going to show up, then why bother, you know? Though they did try to color match on the blue to make the red part that was still attached to it match up with the red in front, and it's okay. It's noticeable on camera, but in hand, it matches up a bit better. All around though, this thing is just a brick, and it's awesome. For comparison, here he is next to Studio Series Cybertronian Bumblebee and Ratchet from the Bumblebee movie. Here he is next to Siege War for Cybertron Megatron. And here he is next to Siege War for Cybertron Optimus Prime. Now I don't know about you guys, but when I think of War for Cybertron, I think of the video game. So to me, the Studio Series War for Cybertron Optimus Prime is my go-to, especially for the vehicle mode. But as we get into robot mode, I mean, how did he get better? This is an amazing representation of what we see in the video game. It is almost 1-for-1 to the video game model, barring some changes that were made to the sculpt and paint to compromise with the vehicle mode. But still, this is incredible! The detail work alone is incredible. On some parts, they went to the tiniest little detail and it's amazing. But they did change some things in the paint department for this figure, such as the chest windows. In the game, they're black with a red line through it. Here, it's silver, no red line. I'm not sure why that is. It might have had to do with proportion-wise or just paint scheme not working out in general, but I don't really mind it, and if anything, you can fix it with just a little bit of paint or wait for Toy Hacks to come out with some labels for this. Either way, it's fixable. Speaking of paint details, the red Autobot insignias on both shoulders are done in a very nice shade of glowing red, I guess. I don't know how to really describe it other than that, but it doesn't get lost in the red plastic, which is pretty amazing unto itself. Other details include red for where he would be glowing energon, however, it's not perfect as some silver splotches got into it. And then speaking of silver, he's got some on his shins. For the final bit of paint detail I'm going to go over, the head is very cleanly painted. I mean, just look at it. It's amazing. I love the use of silver, the blue eyes. This is Optimus Prime. This is an amazing paint job for an Optimus Prime figure. I could honestly keep gushing about this figure, but I got a review to do, so let's move on, shall we? For articulation, his head is on a ball joint, so it can move pretty freely, including looking up to an amazing height. Like seriously, I didn't expect him to be able to look up that high. Looking down, however, it's limited, but he can look side to side and have some wiggle in it, but it's a pretty good ball joint. The chest can actually open up, and you really gotta get your nail in there. It can be a little difficult, but it opens up to reveal the Matrix of Leadership. And that's pretty detailed unto itself. I'm going to go into that in the accessories part. The arms, however, can lift up slightly above 90 degrees, which is awesome. There is a shoulder rotation, and then there is a bicep rotation, which is pretty cool. And then the arms themselves can bend a little over 90 degrees, but still plenty for what you need. And then he has a wrist swivel, which is awesome. Arm rotation is a full 360 degrees rotation. So there's no obstruction. It has full free range. Speaking of free range, it has a waist swivel, which can do a full 360 degrees. It might catch itself on the backpack, but for the most part, it's really good. For the legs, he can kick way above 90 degrees, and he has a thigh swivel. For knee bend, he can go a little under 90 degrees, but it's still pretty good. As for how far out to the side he can kick, I'm just going to let this photo explain for itself. And finally, we have a pretty decent ankle pivot. Posability on this guy is pretty incredible. Despite his bulky size, he can still pull off some pretty dynamic poses, which are further improved on with his accessories. Now, we only get a few accessories, and they can be considered bare bones, but for what we get, it's pretty much what you need. First off is his ion blaster, which is pretty well sculpted in a very dark gunmetalish gray color. It's a bit hollow on the bottom, but the detail work is still great. To attach it, you simply just remove the forearm piece. Now, this is a bit annoying as it can come off willy-nilly for some reason, but And to attach the weapon, you simply put the peg in the hole that's on the gun, and bam! And because it's a lot slender than the arm, you get a bit more range of movement, so it can point straight up with just the bend of the arm. Man, that looks good. And for those of you who want to store the arm on him, good news, you can! Just in a very awkward spot. Put it simply, you take the small tab that's right there on the arm, and you plug it into his behind. Yeah, that's not awkward at all. For his second weapon accessory, you get his battle axe. The molding on it's pretty good, but the paint job... Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it leaves a lot to be desired. It seriously could have been so much better. I'm definitely gonna have to paint this thing myself to make it look better. Bad paint job aside, it does have a really cool feature where you can make it look like both versions of the battle axe from the game. In this current configuration, it's the normal battle axe that we saw in the intro, and then you can just flip this and you get the battle axe that we see in game. And it does reveal additional molded details, so that's pretty nice. But me personally, I think I'm going to leave it in the intro configuration. I just like that look better. As for the staff part of it, you can actually split it apart so you can have different heights to the staff. So it can either be a long axe or a short axe. Me personally, I prefer the long. And finally, we come to the Matrix of Leadership. It's nice that this Prime came with it, but it's a bit small for him in my opinion. But it's still nice to have a Matrix. And to remove it from him, you simply just grab it and pull. That's it. No muss, no fuss. But it leaves a lot of really good detail behind. And for the final accessory, if you want to call it that, we have a nice backdrop that shows off the K-On prison cells. It's really well done, the printing's nice, it's got some extra words on the side and on the base, and Optimus can plug in pretty decently. If you have all of his weapons on, he's kind of a bit too bulky for it. But hey, you can make it work. For comparison, here he is with Studio Series Bumblebee movie Bumblebee and Ratchet. Here he is with Siege, War for Cybertron, OptimusPrime, which I definitely prefer the Studio Series one. And here we have Siege, War for Cybertron, Megatron. You know, I can't help but feel there's a better Megatron that will go with this until the Studio Series War for Cybertron Megatron comes out. How about the Transformers Prime Megatron? Oh yeah, that will definitely work out till we get the Studio Series 1. Overall, I've gotta say, for Studio Series finally tapping into the video games, they knocked it out of the park with this figure. Yeah, there are some things that can be left to be desired, such as the paint job on that axe, for instance. But I honestly think that if this is your first Optimus Prime, or if you're a fan of this game in general, get this figure. Do not wait till it goes on clearance or anything. It is worth the price of admission. So that's my opinion on the War for Cybertron Studio Series Optimus Prime. If you enjoyed this video, do leave a like and a comment, and if you want to see more videos from me in the future, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be notified. You want to see more content from me? Follow me on Instagram for my photography. And you want to see updates? Follow me on Twitter. Links to both in the description below. And I believe that's it. This is Woody, signing off.